Let's try to make sense of these developments with legal analyst Melusi Xulu. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. How significant is this revelation to the entire case? I mean, what we heard yesterday was explosive.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to the viewers. I believe that this week's testimony, especially with the cell phone expert, Colonel Steyn, it was very important because it has given us a different dimension of the case. All along, we were looking at accused direction or a link, how they are linked. Now we've heard that in fact they know each other, they've been phoning each other. But the most important part, which I think the state really needs to clear up for us, is how is Kelly Khumalo involved? Is she a suspect? Is she a witness? Is she a mastermind? I think that is something that the state has to clear up, because it may look as if we are also investigating the case with the state, where the state does not really know what they are doing, because as I've said before on some other platforms, we have an issue where there are two dockets in one case. There are some people who are witnesses, but there are also suspects. Now we hear that the accused, or one of the accused, somehow had a link with Kelly Khumalo. But what is the state saying to us on that? That needs to be clear.
Kelly Khumalo's alleged role is becoming more detailed. What may have been some reasons why she was not called to the witness box? Because she has first-hand knowledge of what transpired in that house. Okay, I'm not sure if you got my question, but I'm talking about Kelly Khumalo's alleged role, which is becoming more clear. What may have been some of the reasons why she was not called to the witness box? Because she had first-hand knowledge of what transpired in that house.
Okay, if I'm a prosecutor, if I have a state witness, there are two or more reasons why I would not call a state witness. The first one is the most obvious. It's where I know that if the state witness comes, there's nothing that he or she will add to the case. There are other state witnesses who have testified, they are saying the same thing. Then I would say, okay, there's no need for me to call the state witness. Or in this case, I would say, if I'm Advocate Baloyi, there's no need for me to call Kelly Khumalo. Zandile Khumalo has stated what happened. Tabiseng has stated what happened, Mama Piri, and the others. That will be one of the reasons. But the second reason, which is what I believe is the reason why she will not be called, is where I see that, look, if I call the state witness, this will impact my case in a very negative way. And that was what I was thinking about before the revelations of the cell phones came in. Now, you have a state witness here who is somehow connected, although it's not clear, but there are suspicions, who's somehow connected to the accused. And then you bring that person to come in and explain. What is that person going to explain except damage your case even further? So that is the reason why I think she's not called.
And from the side of the NPA, how crucial would it have been for them to already have merged both dockets from the time we heard about the docket within a docket, the two dockets, at the start of the first trial, because the relevance would be crucial at this stage? Why has the NPA not used the information to bolster its case?
I think that's what they should have done, because look at it like this, Paul. If you have people who have murdered a person, and a high-profile person such as Senzo Meyiwa, and the first thing they do, they take one cell phone or it's a Bosch robbery of some sort, and they leave an X6 at the door or in the house. Is that really a robbery? Then you ask yourself, if it was a Bosch robbery, it means it was a conspiracy of some sort. Then it means if you have 5 people who are Ingabi or who are called to kill or are hired to kill, there should be a mastermind. And I think this was one of the organizations that is hired by the Meyiwa family. That's what they've been saying all along, that look, there's a mastermind that still needs to be arrested. And I think as the case is proceeding, we are somehow, not that we are saying, we are somehow seeing that there should have been more people that have been arrested. But I don't want to say who at this stage. Obviously, I'm not involved in the details of the case.
So what alternative narrative do you think the defense could provide the court with? Because the details around the SIM card swaps and prior communication is pointing the case in a different new direction. Does, communicating with someone automatically mean you're colluding in some manner?
Yes, I think it's a very interesting dimension now, because look, at the beginning we're looking at the fact that there might be an issue with identification, there might be an issue with the docket, what we call it, doc identification, where the witness points you out, but they've never seen you, but they remember you, and they say, when they are giving a testimony, you are the person that was in the house, for example, in this case. But now we are seeing cell phone records. But the thing is, even if someone uses your phone, it could happen that someone uses your phone and it may look like it's you. So I think maybe if there were more information like SMSs and more information as to what they said, for now we don't have a clear link exactly, but it's just suspicious. Hence I'm saying even Kelly Khumalo's testimony will assist at least to clear her name if that is the position. So for the defense, I think that is what they would be using this. They would say, look, yes, it might have been my cell phone is Swiso Khumalo, Swiso Nduli, but I was not using the phone. Maybe that's what they might come up with. But what I find very interesting is that the states have used an expert witness to give a testimony on what happened. Perhaps if the defense's clients or the accused, they can afford an expert as well to explain away this link that has been put on evidence. It might assist them further, because obviously the advocates are not experts. They can use their intelligence and cross-examination, but to explain away some scientific issues, they might need an expert witness as well.
Yeah. And in trying to wind down some of the legal arguments, where would you say are some of the biggest loopholes in the state's case?
Well, my biggest loophole that I've looked at was obviously identification, where one of the oldest cases that we use as a guideline, as a test, is a 1972 case. It talks about when you're giving an evidence, you must be able to explain what happened. Obviously, you use the light, you use the proximity of yourself as a witness to what happened, and obviously the sobriety of the witness is important. Doc identification is one of the issues, where someone will just come to the witness doc and just point you out. It must be taken with extreme caution, because it must be sourced out from something else, not just a dog identification. The other thing that I'm looking at, contradictions. For example, you just play the clip now where you say that Zandile said that the cell phone was left at the house, but it happens that the cell phone was also taken to the hospital, the cell phone of Mr. Meyiwa. There are many other contradictions that I don't have time to talk about. So there are all those things. But what I always think about, Mpho, if you just give me a second, I always think about the fact that within the first few days when Mr. Meyiwa was killed, there was a person that was arrested. His name is Zamukuhle Mbatha. He comes originally from KwaNongoma. When Zamukuhle Mbatha was arrested, he was later released. Now, here's what I find interesting, even if you watch the Netflix documentary on this. Zamukuhle used to wash Senzo's car. Zamukuhle is a neighbor of the Khumalos there. But he was pointed out by Kelly's mom, and she was pointed out as someone that she does not know on the ID parade, if I'm not mistaken. Now, if people in the house can point someone that they stay with or is a neighbor and say, this is one of the accused, then later on the person is released, then there are other accused that are arrested, and there was no ID parade held for those accused. It makes the case look a little bit strange, but I will come back to the other issue again there just to end. The story of the two doctors from me is very interesting, and I think this is testing not only the credibility of the witnesses, but it's testing the credibility of SAPS and the National Prosecuting Authority.
Absolutely. More questions than answers at this stage. But thank you so much for your time. Legal analyst Melusi Xulu speaking to some of the revelations we've heard in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial this week. Still